Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at a real classic, the AquaStart 320. Now, this tank has been around for a very, very long time. It's one of my favourite aquariums ever. Not just for what it is, but also for the nostalgia it brings back. I actually bred and accidentally raised my first ever cories in there, Trillineatus, completely by accident, but in a 320. So yeah, this little tank being the second tank I ever had has got a special place in my heart because I was about 16 years old and I had my big tank, which took a lot of convincing to get the parents to agree to. And then when you try and approach them for a second tank after the first one was already a hard sell, you have to go with something small. And look at it, it's just timeless.
So full disclosure, I did not pay for this tank. Neither am I unfortunately sponsored by Aqua One. My little girl actually won a competition at the Aqua event, colouring in competition, and this was the prize for it. So she's over the moon. She's been bugging me to get it started, set up. And before we go any further, I must apologise for the audio. This place is a work in progress and it's chaos in here. I have subsequently not lost, but temporarily unaware of the location of the microphone system. So if the audio is a bit off, I am very, very sorry. Now, back to the 320. This is the newer version. The one I had 20 years ago essentially looked the same, although it didn't have the gloss finish. Now, when I opened this box up, I really did not like the gloss black. It's available in white, but it used to be available in pink. So the one I had was more of a satin finish. However, when it's in an environment with more black furniture, maybe your gloss black TV or anything else similar to it, even just the racking in this instance, it blends in very nicely. So yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but in the right setting, it's going to work for you. And if not, get the white one. With this being the new one, this has the LED lighting unit, whereas mine had like an old twin pin gas filled bulb. It still has the options of white with RGB and blue, or nightlight, which, you know, not a lot of people use it. Most of us are going to bang it onto white, fit a timer, and never touch that button again. Now, because I was just a mere lad when I first had my first 320, it was secondhand. I paid £10.50 for it on eBay and went to collect it from somebody's house. It was the first thing I'd ever bought secondhand on eBay. Build quality, obviously brilliant. The guy had had it for years. It had been moved from home to home, which obviously generally puts stresses on silicone seams, but it never once leaked. I had that aquarium for another 5 years. But because it was secondhand, it didn't come with any sort of filtration. Now, I'm sure the old one had like an in-hood design, but what I'm really excited about is the filtration you get with this. Yes, it would have been nice if the background came black, but leaving it clear, that leaves it open for you to do what you want. However, if you don't go with black, this filter that you get with it is going to stand out like a sore thumb. Now, this is what I want to talk to you about. Okay, so I pulled this out, and the first thing that struck me was that this is one of 3 possible intakes. This is your main intake, okay, right down here at the bottom. This is a secondary intake, and not by design, water can also enter through these slots at the back. Not a problem, because it stops any sort of stagnant mold build-up happening around here. Quite a nice effect, probably not how it was designed. My issue though, was these were in here, in the first compartment. Now, the problem that gives for me is that these are going to accumulate muck, which not only reduces their actual efficiency by reducing their surface area, but it means that they're going to have to be cleaned. And to clean them, we're going to have to dismantle this. Now, I took it apart. I cannot put it back together, but that's fine. So this is supposed to be in here like this. I can't get it back in there. And then you have like basically just a space increaser, a surface area increaser. It's like a plastic comb which slides in along with a cartridge, which is kind of like a fine filter pad, and what looks to be activated carbon, and they slot in there. And then obviously the intent would be that you carry on servicing this by removing those and just placing them back in. The problem there lies with these as your first point of contact being in here. These are going to need rinsing. So yes, you could remove this and put it under the sink and turn it upside down and run water through it, and that would probably do a fine job. But I don't think that makes it very user friendly, because having to remove all of your interior decoration potentially just to remove this, no, I'm not a fan of that. Also, if you're thinking of using this for shrimp, it doesn't make it the most shrimp safe. Now, it's not terrible. I really do like it, but it needs to be modified. So for me, what needs to happen in here is we have a center separation, and we have the pump over here, which is very, very energy efficient. It claims to run 180 liters an hour, which, if it does that, is pretty biblical. I don't necessarily want it to do that, and I don't think there's any adjustment. So be careful if you're going to put a betta in something like this. It may be too strong. However, it does come with a handy duckbill, so you can attach that on here and then direct the flow up to try and minimize the whirlpool effect. And you could even mount this over to one side that is shooting straight down the middle. That's entirely up to you. Now back to the filter. This is not a bad system. Lots and lots of hang-on backs and kit filters come with this. This is my favorite kit filter I've ever had. We've been through the horrendous Superfish hang-on back and how that is just an awful design and must be modified in an extensive way, in my opinion. This one, yeah, you can get away with it working straight out the box, no problem. But for me, because it's likely that shrimp will enter this at some point, she's got her eye on a couple of ivory BDS guppies, and they're going to be called Bluey and Bingo. But actually it might end up being a couple of Japanese blue endlers, because she's really taken a shine to those lately. She's now starting to end up with MTS. Can I have those together? Yeah, of course you can, darling, but those, no. Anyway, back to the filter. What I will be doing is not this, but I will be having one piece of foam that slides in and out of there. Now, what's that going to do for me? That is going to mean that maintaining this entire chamber is very, very easy. I will pull it out, I will clean it, I will put it back in. No messing around with separation chambers here, no trying to get these out, not a problem. Also, with the sponge being here, and with a poor PPR like this, sort of about 35, you're unlikely to end up with a high number of shrimp in the filter itself. Right? It's not really going to do them any damage, because the pump itself is actually quite nice. You know, it's not a case of they've just thrown a pump in there. There is a strainer on it as well. I should just check. No, straight to impeller. So it looks like no adjustability there, which is not an issue. It really isn't a problem. Yeah, no worries. Now, probably what will happen is this center separation, which is here because it is designed so it would sit like this. So your water comes in through here, through these media, then through this side exit, up this chamber, out through here, through these two pads, and then back through these slots into the pump chamber. Now, the way that I will be operating this with sponge makes this section redundant. So highly likely that I will just drill some holes in here, and then it will just be a pass through, because all the water will have to pass through the sponge before it can access the pump chamber. Now, be aware that modifying anything in any way is more than likely going to void your warranty. However, I cannot see any complication with using this. I genuinely do not believe that 35 ppi sponge as a block in there is going to cause any harm to the pump unless you seriously neglect it. You would really need to neglect it, okay? But even then, you're not likely to burn the pump out because these guys have thought of that, and you have a secondary intake right at the top. So if the pump is trying to draw from here, this is blocked completely, no water can flow in. It can draw from the top straight across here into the pump chamber, and your pump's not likely to burn out. So I do like this. Is it fit for my purpose? No. Is it easily modifiable? Yes. I really do think this is the best filter that comes with a kit. Now, do I wish that they hadn't included these? Because, I mean, let's be honest, if that'll focus, they are not very porous at all. I think they could just save that money and just one chunky piece of sponge in there. In fact, that's actually a really good fit, but I'm going to need to order some proper sized foam because we're out of foam. I've been modifying a lot of filters lately. So the water is going to come in here. It's going to be able to pass through immediately, also up and through into this section, okay? Because there are slots down the bottom up here. So it will come in through this, and if I put holes in this, which I more than likely will to increase flow, then it will be able to pass straight through if it wishes to, or it will have to come up through the sponge and then through either of these because there will be holes here as well. Now that does make this separator a little less effective. Now what you also could do though is put these in here. Is it going to slow your flow a little bit? Yeah, of course it is. Everything that you put in something reduces flow. By how much? Don't know. Doesn't matter. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine. They don't really fit efficiently, but these do not need to be kept in this shape. There's nothing stopping you taking a hammer to them and breaking them in half, which is quite potentially something I would do. Now, if you wanted to put some other sort of media in here, you could definitely do that. Some pumice stone, some alpha grog, some lava rock, absolutely anything would work. But seeing as you get these, why not use those? Drill some holes in here. You shouldn't end up with much dirt in here at all because this sponge is going to be taking everything. I would cut that down so it's not completely covering these. Maybe cut it to about here so that there is still room for some bypass. But all the water is going to come in through here, a little bit through there, get filtered through this, so your mechanical filtration and biological filtration. These guys for biofiltration, and then it's going to pass through to the pump, which I've already said is 2.5 watts. So if you're not running a heater, which this kit doesn't come with, and no kits do, it's the one thing I hate about kit packages, is that this is really not going to cost you much to run at all. I don't know the exact energy consumption of the LEDs, but there's not a massive amount of them and they're not super bright. So we're not talking 35 watts. But this tank is actually going to be pretty efficient to run. So if you were going to say, keep some endlers or a couple of guppies or some white cloud mountain minnows, even CPDs, you won't need a heater. You're really only going to be running the pump and then a couple of LEDs. So do I rate it? Yeah, I love the tank. I absolutely love that tank. There's something about that size, that style. I don't know why it's called a 320 when it's only 28 litres. That always leads me to believe it's 32 litres. Always. I'd love to know why it's called a 320. Maybe it's 32 centimetres front to back. I don't know. I really do like this. Now I can't set it up quite yet because I haven't painted the background. I've got other tanks. There's going to be 3 up here. This is not where this one's going to go. Yeah, it's a work in progress at the moment. See, we've got our foods and our botanicals and stuff over there. It just makes it much easier, more efficient to package stuff and send things out to you guys. But yeah, I like the Aqua One. I've always loved the 320. I'm very, very privileged to have it and not have had paid for it. So there we go, guys. if you are thinking about buying somebody their first tank or just a little additional tank or anything, maybe you're sneakily trying to get your partner into the hobby so that you can go on fish tour days and they don't moan, I really do rate the Aqua One 320 as a Christmas gift. I've seen prices for around £70, £80, and yes, you can get bigger glass boxes for that, but they won't be as well made. They won't include lights. They may not include any filtration. And let's not forget, whilst these open top tanks, these rimless tanks are really nice to look at, sometimes if you've got hard water, like in my area, you end up with calcium carbonate deposits on the edge and you can see the water line. Honestly guys, this is my #1 pick if you are going to buy somebody a small aquarium as a gift. I would love to know if anybody's had one of these, what they kept in it, how they got it, where it came from. I would love to hear your 320 stories, because I'm pretty sure at least 50% of the people in this hobby have owned this tank at some point. Now, as always guys, please, if you've got any stories to share about this, drop it in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you would be so kind. It costs absolutely nothing to do that. And we are trying to grow this channel. The better we grow it, the more information we can get out and the more giveaways we can give to our supporters. So consider it. That'd be brilliant. And also please do try to find a way to make a stranger smile today, because you have no idea what impact that could have on the rest of their life. And I hope you find a reason to smile too. Catch you in the next one.